lane is under pressure or if they want to get somebody fed, that's where he tends to put himself. So for the time being, nobody on Fnatic needs the assistance of their teammates, so Cyanide is doing the best he can to farm. That early power of the burnout from Shyvana is, of course, allowing Svenskeren to farm earlier and steal camps away.
Look at Reckless there, dodging most of the damage from that boomerang blade. Actually, Yellow Star threw out a flame, and there's the junglers actually meeting each other, and the damage here from Svenskeren already, knocking Cyanide pretty low, but they're going to turn this one around. Svenskeren is level 6, so does have the dragon to escape. Won't be needed, though. Freddy had started to come down. Fnatic decide not to fight, but for how long? Look at Peke's position.
Yeah, really good burst damage there from Svenskeren, but thanks to the damage he's now taken, Peke has explosive cast, has ignite as well. Svenskeren's aware of it, I think. Svenskeren hasn't started his red, he's playing this safe, and with 2 members, Fnatic should be able to pick this one up.
Oh, Svenskeren spotted here, there's a barrel knocking him right back. Dragon was already used, this Jesus comes in, Peke's gonna go low, finished up there, Jesus picks that one up. Cyanide did finish off Svenskeren as he exits the jungle, but again, similar to what we saw in the last game, a split-second first blood coming in before the reply.
And such a good barrel from Peke, that explosive cast actually preventing Svenskeren's dragon descent from getting him out to safety. The flash body slam to apply the slow, so very good play from Fnatic, but I think that because Svenskeren knew that it was coming, he called for assistance and Jesus responded in time. Jez is able to get himself on the board, get that kill with Ari, and is going to return to lane. A little bit of extra ability power, some cooldown reduction thanks to that Fetish Codex, and he's going to try to control Peke just a little bit more.
Top lane's been very quiet so far. 61 to 57 CS, pretty much bang even up there, and so as he's been pretty vocal about the fact that he really doesn't enjoy playing Shen in this top lane. He spent a lot of time under his turret. He's making sure that the last hits continue to come his way. Now is Freddy actually diving in onto him and actually going to pop the ultimate here, so he's going to go for Soaz. He has an ignite, but that's the thing about the top lanes like this, both of them got mobility abilities that get him out. Yeah,
and you see that Soaz with his shield and his dash can at least clear out. Part of the reason that's quite smart from Freddy is it gives him that nice big burst of HP. So once Dominus runs out, he's going to remain at that higher HP pool, and that just allows him to stay in lane, to CS for longer, and stick around. It's a little risky because he doesn't have a ward in the river, so if Cyanide were to gank now, there's no Dominus available, there's no vision, so it makes it a little bit more unsafe for Freddy, but I think he's having a good read on the match right now, realizing that Cyanide is not in his general vicinity.
And Cyanide's going to try and stop this pink ward being taken out here. Svenskeren though will be able to walk in there, and I was going to say dodges everything, but no, Spider's not exactly easy to get away from, but he takes the ward anyway.
Very dramatic steal of that ward, denial of that vision.
About as exciting as ward takedowns get.
Almost as exciting as a top lane battle, actually, at this point in time.
Certainly this one.
Yeah, this particular matchup right now in terms of the duo lanes, I once again just want to draw your attention to Candy Panda's CS. He is still sitting behind, but this time round is now pushing out a little bit more from his lane. You can see he's caught up now, he's up to level 6, so his Ricochet, his Boomerang Blade, is allowing him to push the wave just a little bit quicker, and you don't get the sense that Reckless is in complete control of this lane right now, as those first opening levels where Jinx's sort of damage and range will out-sustain that of Candy Panda's Sivir.
See Reckless, let's take a bit of damage underneath the tower. Candy Panda through that tower aggro, but no. Sorry, hit actually cutting out onto it there. Cyanide is on the bottom side of the map as well. Make sure that that dragon is warded up and not being taken away sneakily by Svenskeren.
One thing I'd like to just make you think about as we get to this mid-game, once we start seeing Fnatic roaming and rotating to try to push down towers, SK Gaming have to be a little bit careful. Their only real wave clear comes from Ari and from Sivir, both of whom are relatively short range. Sivir's going to be relying on that Boomerang Blade and the bouncing from the ricochets. Ari needs to get her Orb of Deception out. Whereas, if SK start to siege up, Fnatic have got pretty good wave clear. Long range splash damage from Reckless's Jinx, as well as those barrels from Gragas. So, you know, defense as well as offense, the wave clear sits with Fnatic, which allows them to maybe pick more of those opportunities.
It has been a bit of a slower start to this one, 11.5 minutes in currently. No dragon taken down. A kill apiece though. SK, if we look at the gold total there up at the top, are 500 or so in the lead at this point. Svenska once again getting some deep wards in there. He wants to keep up that pressure, and the CS lead that he's actually built up at this point is at 56 to the 40 of Cyanide. Meanwhile, the mid laners are both headed back here for a bit of a shop, and it looks like we're going to be seeing them coming back to lane with a little bit more to work with.
Yeah, I think this is actually pretty good decision making from both teams, to be fair. There's nice natural power curves for all of the champions involved. They all scale relatively well through the mid to the late game, and I think maybe with the exception of Shen, if he just builds tanky, not being as impactful as I feel a Renekton could be in a team fight, Soaz is going to be able to split push and rely on that Stand United, which is a much better way of joining the fight than the use of teleport. So both of these teams comfortable to get to the mid to late game, and I think that's why we've seen very little pressure on the towers, very little focus on accelerating the game. They just want to get to a comfortable power item spike before they pick fights.
Here we go, Cyanide moving down towards the bottom lane right now. Will they be able to sneak in there? There's no ward in that brush currently. And Shyvana a long way away, which means this will be a 3-on-2 if Fnatic can get the starter to it. If they can get things rolling, get the initiation that they need to really lock down the second kill of this game for them. Actually, Reckless pushing that wave up towards the turret, and SK will quite happily let it fall back somewhat here before they push that one back out. Yeah,
unfortunately, I think the wave is still going to push a little bit towards Fnatic unless Reckless keeps using that splash damage. For the time being, we're going to look for that cocoon to actually start the engagement. Cyanide has committed a lot of time to this bottom lane, and it doesn't look like Reckless has got the memo because he continues to push the wave up. There was a ward put in that secondary bush, so if Cyanide had pushed a little further up, yeah, would have been given away his position, and fortunately decides to back away. So that's about 30 or 40 seconds, for all intents and purposes, wasted right now.
And you know, there's always the theory of you push the wave to make them think that there's no one there, but if you do it 2 or 3 times, that guy in the brush is kind of just wasting his time. However, it does mean that they've got a little bit more of a resource to work with down on the bottom side for the dragon, and that is a sneaky dragon, my friends.
Very good decision making. What was great about that is if SK had any vision there, you've seen Yellowstar coming into the pit, basically hugging the wall, and then pulling Elise in with the use of that lantern. So you're never going to think, hey, a support's going to take the dragon. You can start theorizing your junglers nearby, but a nice early pickup for Fnatic. They are still only 200 or 300 gold ahead of SK Gaming right now, but they have the timer on the dragon. They can set up vision wards in the next sort of 3.5, 4 minutes, so it's ready for the next respawn, and then get themselves into a position to challenge.
This wins the gold back over in Fnatic's favour. They're now sat at 300. The advantage as both mid laners get their blue buff. Should talk about their items now because they're both finished off their first big pickups. Athene's Unholy Grail for Peke and the Deathfire Grasp over for Jezza. So he's going to be looking to burst that single target down, and for him he'll be probably hoping that that person is Peke.
Yeah, Peke or Reckless, I think, once we start seeing these next dragon fights. And I almost prefer an Ahri in this situation as opposed to a LeBlanc, because I think that not only is Ahri maybe a little bit safer with 3 charges. Oh, they've caught Jezza.
There's a barrel coming in, and we've got Elise there as well. And actually, Jezza's using a charge to try and get away. Peke completely predicting that one. The barrel rolls in, and just as we were talking about the DFG and the ability for Jezza to single someone out, Fnatic counter it with a kill. Very
well played by Cyanide. Just that additional burst in the spider form in conjunction with Peke's Gragas allows them to secure that one. And another kill sitting for Fnatic. So they're 2-1 up as far as the kills are concerned. Jezza's going to be a little bit more cautious, maybe actually even warding up that sort of Wraith Bush area. We've seen a ward earlier from Svenska, and he went to clear out a pink ward that was there. Peke doesn't have Cask available, but they're going to go on Freddy.
The big man coming into this top lane. Freddy down at half HP. Flash comes in. This is going to be a dive, though, for Fnatic. Soaz just sat there tanking it up, but he realizes, you know what, we don't have the damage for this one. Svenska dives right down the middle of them, but Peke going to be slowly grinded upon. There is Stand United. Actually, the stun coming down won't allow Soaz to follow through, but Cyanide is now there as well. Soaz is still alive. Peke is still alive. There is a repel. They've gone back in for some reason, and Svenska are now going to try and chase down Cyanide, giving a bit more damage back, and somehow Fnatic pull those two low health members out of there.
Nobody dies in that situation. It was just Fnatic realizing they needed to back away. Luckily, having the 3v2 advantage forced Freddy and Svenskeren to be a little bit more hesitant about diving, about continuing the chase, and that is what allowed Fnatic to get away. It was a brave move stepping back forward for Soaz, but it worked in his favor because the barrel was right on top of him. He put a big signal for SK saying, if you want to go for Soaz, you need to take more poke. My body slam should be available and cooldown, and, you know, calling your bluff, basically. At the end of the day, nobody goes down. While it was happening, there was also a lot of movement in the bottom lane. So we may have to keep our eyes on Candy Panda and Rated versus Reckless and Yellowstar. They were moving towards the river, putting a lot of wards down. That's a ring of vision that Yellowstar is putting down in anticipation of ganks and rotation, or roams rather, from Jez's Ari.
There was the hook coming out from Yellowstar, and well, and Rated simply just dodging away from that one. Here is Cyanide making a return to the top lane. And we're going to see Svenskeren doing exactly the same in here as well. They tried to dive last time around. It cost them a lot of health and almost 2 lives. Are they going to go for that one again? It doesn't look like Cyanide has backed off.
Yeah, in that previous dive, I think Peke, they overestimated the damage they were going to put down. There was no explosive cost available, and it didn't catch out, unfortunately. Svenskeren is still hanging around in the top lane, while Reckless is getting a lot of damage on the tower. Great spell shield from Candy Panda.
Perfectly timed. Here comes the absolute zero. The flame chompers are at the back. Henriksen goes low. There's a kill from Reckless. And again, we see the super mega death rocket paying dividends for Reckless. They get that kill. Are they going to be able to force the turret down though with this wave? The wave is coming up there behind them. We see Candy Panda at just over half HP. He's got a vamp sensor to try and bring some of that HP back, but I feel he has to back off with the CC that Yellowstar could throw his way.
Yeah, there's nothing that he can really do. Now, Get Excited from Reckless may get him in range to put some damage down. Great spell shield, but if the hook had come immediately after, that would have caught Candy Panda. Freddy has no dominance available. He dodges. That was close. Let me rephrase. Cyanide missed.
Dodge it, yeah.
Yeah, Cyanide missed that one. They've caught Candy.
They have caught Candy Panda. Have they got the damage to finish him off? Yes, they have. Just about. Reckless gets that one. The movement speed going to send him packing as Svenskeren tries to chase down. And I tell you what, Svenskeren needs to be a little careful there. They realized that Nunu was coming back into lane though, and decide enough is enough for us there. Again, Reckless 2-0-0.
Great coordination between those two. Yellowstar was backing away down the lane, used the lantern to save Reckless. Now, we'll talk about that in a second. As you see, Cyanide is hanging around by the Wraith Bush. If the explosive cask knocks Jez's towards the lane, Cyanide could jump in there. He should just smite this and steal it away. Doesn't even need to.
Doesn't even need to. Svenskeren going to go aggressive onto him. There was, oh, I was going to say the push coming in, and there's the barrel. Wow! That combo from Xpeke. I thought the ultimate had come out at first when half health was gone, but no, that was just the combo of the body slam and the barrel rolling in onto him. That's the power of this Gragas right now. Svenskeren and Cyanide again going head-to-head in the jungle.
Cyanide realizes that Peke can respond and back him up, and that's why Cyanide's playing so brave in that particular situation. Thanks to getting the bottom tower, Yellowstar and Reckless now start the snowball rolling. They roam to mid lane. They get the tower. And, you know, when you've got a rod that's needlessly large, that's where Peke's burst is going to come from, hitting every single ability and barrel. This is going to be another tower for Fnatic.
Jinx on towers is never a good sign. Absolutely ripping through there with the items that he's actually got. And we can see that Fnatic going to back away. There's a blue buff for the taking there. We'll see who that actually goes to. We expect it is Cyanide's. Yep. SK actually sat in the tri-bush there, maybe trying to set something up, but Dragon is live. 2 turrets have gone down in that mid lane. The kills went Fnatic's way, and SK, this is going to have to be a steal for them possibly. No, they're going to muscle in there.
Stand United is available for Soaz, so if Cyanide were to go in and try to steal this one, we could see Soaz channeling on him. They've caught Enrated!
They've caught Enrated. Chomper's going down. The box is in position. He's dead. Svenskeren dives in, but he's far too low for that one, and Fnatic may want to keep chasing through from this one. Soaz at the front. Let's see if he can land it. There's a barrel from Peke on the side. This is going to be a whitewash. Freddy just about getting away, but Reckless, and Peke continues to chase. Oh, solo, and there's a finisher. Jinx again coming up big, and Soaz is not done yet. Ulti pop by Candy Panda to get him out of taunt range. 4 for nothing.
The rest of Fnatic are just going to turn around. If they stick on this tower, they can pick it up, alternatively fall back to the Dragon, and all it boils down to is better positioning and better initiation power. The hook there landed. The only initiation that SK has here is a charm. That's the only CC they have to offer. The rest of it is running around, running in circles and trying to prolong a team fight to win. SK cannot afford to get caught out. They cannot afford to be the ones initiated upon because they don't react well enough to it.
I don't want to be a bit of a curse here for both Reckless and Yellow Star, but they still haven't died this season in the LCS. Let's watch that Fire Dragon again.
And this is the same case. Inrated caught out by that death sentence that we talked about. The only ability that SK Gaming has to lock people in place is the charm. And thanks to Peke, great read of the situation, lands the cask, knocking both Freddy and Jez's towards his team. There's nothing that SK could do. Reckless even gets in range, thanks to Fishbones, lands that last auto attack. I mean, the fact of the matter is, SK is now 6,000 gold down. They've lost 2 dragons in a row. They're 2 towers down, and now Freddy's in trouble.
Look how confident Fnatic are playing this one as well. There's a hook coming out. Will land onto Jumpers are down. Actually flashed away from by Freddy. Probably needed to do that there. I think they would have had the damage to finish off, especially with Reckless's ultimate.
Yeah, if the Chompers had held him in place for 1 or 2 more auto attacks, plus the execution on that Super Mega Death Rocket, that definitely would have finished him off. He's got a fair amount of armor right now, but Sunfire Cape still not completed. Does have Dominus available, but no flash if Yellow Star were to land yet another death sentence.
Look how fast they're pushing through these waves now. And he's going to have to try and hold this one here, Freddy. Svenskun's actually on the side of things, but look at Reckless. Look at that tower and its health. Or no health, I should probably is more to the point. That goes down super quickly, and they can continue to push here.
Look at the rest of Fnatic. They've caught 2 SK.
Oh, is there a barrel coming in here from Peke from the side? Surely will do at some point. Jesus is at half HP. There's the barrel. It actually knocks Jesus away from things, but Reckless picks up the kill nonetheless onto Freddy, and that is turret number 5 going down here for Fnatic.
Now we do see Candy Panda and Narrator trying to do some form of split push, but this is 2 members against Soaz. Soaz should be able to tank up a little bit of damage. The rest of Fnatic, they're on the inhibitor turrets.
Yeah, and they're going to stop from this one. The minions actually not really there with them, but the damage that they can throw down here is absolutely unstoppable. The bottom lane, there's no way you can get past Soaz to take the tower when he can just taunt you into it up there. Charm actually landing here onto Peke. That could be dangerous for him. A hook lands onto Svenskun. He gets played back. Here comes Reckless once again, and it's Peke actually with the ignite that picks that one up. But they get the inhib. They go back meanwhile down to the bottom lane. Not only couldn't SK push that turret down, but they couldn't survive the push back from Fnatic. They lost Enrated in the process.
Cyanide and Soaz able to defend the tower, pick themselves up a kill. Fnatic are 12-1 up right now, and part of the reason they've got so much control, and part of the reason that they're doing so incredibly well here, is the attack speed that comes out of Jinx. We'll get to that in a second, as long story short, Enrated just gets caught by too much CC. Very good repel from Cyanide. Just lands that last little venomous bite. And, you know, SK were trying to recall, SK were trying to get back when they were caught out. If you look at Jinx when she's got a minigun, you know, out and shooting down, there's a massive attack speed boost that gets added with each consecutive shot, and it allows you to shred through towers. Candy Panda, I'm sorry dude, you're dead.
Yeah, he's got a spell shield, but that's only going to block one for him. It actually turns out pretty decent until the fat man arrives from the side. Peke gets one, the other one goes over to Cyanide. That's another turret, I'm afraid.
A little bit, well, a lot overextended. There was no vision for SK. Candy Panda shouldn't have been there. Candy Panda should not have been that far up, knowing how far ahead Fnatic are, knowing how little control they have over the map. And I think SK almost got lulled into thinking, well, they got an inhibitor, they got the towers, surely they've recalled, surely they've backed off to spend those copious amounts of gold that they've earned. Soaz recalling right in front of Svenskeren and can't even challenge. If we actually take a look at the gold differences between these, you know, individual lanes, there's 1 death on the board here for Peke, and it's in the mid lane. And he is currently 3,000 gold ahead of Jez's. Reckless, on the other hand, you're sitting, what's that, 4,000, if my math isn't terrible? Well, 3.5. Massive numbers. Arithmetic. I don't know why I do it. It's not worth it. But that just tells your story. And if you're a full item or a full ingredient behind, you are so much harder pressed to win team fights.
We're only 25 minutes into this game as well, let's not forget. 14-1 in kills. That's a pretty ridiculous total to have here at this level of the game. 7-1 in turrets. The gold is just miles ahead for Fnatic, and they are going to keep pushing.
I don't know what Svenskeren is doing. Unless he wants to pick a fight coming in from the side, all he's done is given Fnatic free time to deal damage to this turret. Svenskeren is still floating outside. They've caught Jesus.
They're going straight in there. Barrel comes down. Jesus actually falls there to Reckless. That's going to mean he can get in. Super Mega Death Rocket comes through. It's actually an auto attack that gets that one. Double kill coming down. Another one will be picked up by Cyanide. Hook gonna miss, but it doesn't matter. Candy Panda's not gonna escape. Oh, smart. Pulls the barrier. Sap comes through, but not got the range. Fnatic don't care. They want the tower.
Now they're going to be able to pick this one up. They can get onto the inhibitor as well. There are super minions up in the top lane and 3 members still down, but there's only 15-second death timers right now. It is still 26 minutes into this game. Fnatic need to be a little bit careful if they decide to stick around. I think wisely backing away is the right decision. They were low on HP. They do not want to give up those massive kill bonus sprees over to SK Gaming. And when you consider the only member to have died is Peke, that's a good decision. And this is basically how it starts. Look at the damage that gets caught to Jez's. Even though they don't, connect the hook with him, the zap, auto attack, and explosive cast. I mean, that's 3 abilities. Basically kills him from the fight immediately, and it's just a cleaning crew. They came in like a wrecking ball, quite literally, and Reckless just wrecked them under the tower.
Wow, you really wrecked that one, didn't you? Reckless, this was actually pretty awesome from Candy Panda, but in the end didn't quite
awesome runaway.
Didn't make that much of a difference, yeah, is what I guess I'm trying to say with that one. But fighting an uphill battle, I think, is maybe even a slight understatement here from SK's side of things. Looking down the scoreboard, 9 assists for Soaz, not really able to pick up any kills, but he's not died either. 5-0-4 on Cyanide, 4-1-5 on Peke. Again, Reckless, 8-0-3. And Yellow Star, 0-0-11.
For the record, Reckless and Yellow Star, still 0 deaths between the two of them over 3 games in the LCS against Gambit, Alliance, and SK Gaming. You talked about this being an uphill battle for SK. That hill is Mount Everest right now. 15,000 gold down. They have no control over the map. They can barely get into their own jungle. They've got their own blue buff, which is great, and they're diving on Soaz, and it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, actually, they've got Reckless in there as well, but Svenskeren may have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew. They're going to just focus him straight out of there. Peke gets that kill. Reckless going to keep chasing through. Can they grab anyone else? Yellow Star cues up the hook, but Freddy flashed it.
That definitely would have connected as well. If that flash hadn't come down, Freddy would have been caught and pulled backwards. Now, with super minions still pushing the top lane, I believe, as well as in the middle lane, they're going to focus their attention on bottom. Soaz can recall, heal, and join the fight on whoever dives with that Stand United. And I'm expecting that to be the story. They're actually doing it on Reckless.
What comes through? Stand United is there. They're going to go for Freddy first of all. No, they're not. They're going to the backline. There goes the ultimate out of Reckless. He picks himself the 9th kill of the game, and he's going to keep chasing it on to Freddy, who's got his ultimate running, but that won't be enough to save his life. It's Peke that picks that one up, and Fnatic want more kills. The taunt landing on towards Jevons. Peke is keeping him on the fountain and pulling him off the fountain. There's another one for Reckless. Svenskeren gets back on, but the hook lands onto him. There's the kill coming back onto Soaz from the laser on the fountain, but it doesn't matter. That's the ace for Fnatic. And in the first El Clasico of the 2014 season, Fnatic absolutely wiped the floor with SK Gaming.
There is very little to say about this game with the exception of get wrecked. Fnatic once again demonstrating crisp, clear communication, rotating for objectives, pushing lanes. Tower after tower fell, and I really feel that Jinx is a ban-worthy champion against this Fnatic squad. It offers everything. You've got wave clear, you've got tower killing power, you have CC. I mean, you have to put Reckless on a different champion. Yeah, he's still going to do well, but you're not going to get quite as wrecked, basically. I know I'm saying, dude, he hasn't died in 3 games. I mean, he truly is that good. I really believe it's that deserved.
Well, we wondered how the hype was going to fit to his performance, whether the points were going to cross on that one. I think a few of those questions have already been answered with the game. Just to run through his scores from the first 3 games here. 8-0-9 against Gambit, 7-0-5 against Alliance, and here 11-0-6 against SK Gaming. Yellow Star, 0-0-15 as Annie, 1-0-8 as Leona, and 0-0-16 as Thresh. Their KDA between them is just not even funny anymore.
I also owe Yellow Star basically an apology for one thing. I did not rate him very highly as a support in the summer split of the LCS. When he transitioned to that position and Pushu took over an AD carry, I felt he got caught too often and I wasn't feeling his impact in games. Battle Atlantic things stepped up, and now in the LCS, these last 3 matches, Yellow Star is a massive part of the reason Reckless is doing so well. His zoning is the best I've seen out of any support. Yesterday on Annie, he kept Genji and Edward completely at bay. Now on Thresh, once again, the threat of the hooks, and he lands so many of them at key points. I feel that Yellow Star has stepped up his support game immensely over the course of the last few months, and that is a terrifying bottom lane here in Europe.
Someone that we've overlooked at a little bit just because of those ridiculous scores from the bottom lane is Soaz in the top lane. Now, Mr. Reliable he wasn't. When he had bad games, Fnatic tended not to do so well. If you look at his playing Trundle in the first game, doing so well with him, brought out the Renekton, not a champion that he really liked to play in the past, bringing out Shen here, a champion which he's openly gone out to avoid by playing a support Blitzcrank in the summer split. He has stepped his game up here and really adapted to what the team needs right now.
And it's an interesting adaptation because he hasn't tried to fit with the meta. He's going to champions that he's comfortable with that sort of work within this one. I still feel like if he were playing champions like a Shyvana, Dr. Mundo, he could probably even do a similar position, maybe even better. But you know what? It's working for them. The Trundle pick was phenomenal. I think they can pull it out now at any time as well. If you see those tanks coming in and you need that, Pillar of Ice for some zone control, it works with the composition. So it's great to have that in your pocket, and it's also good to show everybody else Shen still works.
Yeah.
When the rest of the team was too far ahead, but he can still fit, he can still work. If they'd shut him down harder or the other lanes hadn't fallen so far behind, maybe he would have been outscaled. But the game didn't go that far.
Well, we're all wondering who's going to stop Fnatic and when that'll be. We'll be finding that out in what looks like the coming weeks, maybe, the way that Fnatic have been playing the last 2 days. Guys, we're going to be AFK for just a moment, but when we return, Shox and Demon will be talking to Reckless from Fnatic. Then it's time for RNA's Millennium to battle Diamond and Gambit. Will Millennium finally be able to pick up a win against the men in suits? Find out after this.
Shyvana. I get them. Sivir and Harry. I get them from behind. I get them from behind. Ori.
I don't have to.
I slower. Ori. Renekton. Chase. Yeah. Chase.
I will go from behind. I'm going.
Go. Keep going. Just no flash, no barrier. Okay, it's good. Go for it. I go Drake.
Want thousands of Riot points to boost your League of Legends game? Get RP Plus from American Express Serve. It's a full-service prepaid account that rewards you with RP on the things you already buy. So when you buy things like peripherals and lunch, you'll be earning RP with virtually every purchase. Plus, it has no credit checks or hidden fees, and comes with the safety and security of American Express. That's why RP Plus from American Express Serve is going to change your game. Start earning thousands of RP with RP Plus from American Express Serve now. To learn more about the full-service prepaid account, go to serve.com/League of Legends.
Today, time's up. Bring home Riddick Unrated on Blu-ray with an alternate ending not seen in theaters.
You're not afraid of the dark, are you?
Riddick Unrated. Own it on Blu-ray today.
I'm Olympic gold medalist Hannah Carney, and this is Whack-A-Mole. Show us how you one up it this winter. For a chance to win some awesome new gear, visit barenaked.com.
Want thousands of Riot points to boost your League of Legends game? Get RP Plus from American Express Serve. It's a full-service prepaid account that rewards you with RP on the things you already buy. So when you buy things like peripherals and lunch, you'll be earning RP with virtually every purchase. Plus, it has no credit checks or hidden fees, and comes with the safety and security of American Express. That's why RP Plus from American Express Serve is going to change your game. Start earning thousands of RP with RP Plus from American Express Serve now. To learn more about the full service prepaid account, go to serve.com/League of Legends. Want thousands of Riot points to boost your League of Legends game? Get RP Plus from American Express Serve. It's a full-service prepaid account that rewards you with RP on the things you already buy. So when you buy things like peripherals and lunch, you'll be earning RP with virtually every purchase. Plus, it has no credit checks or hidden fees, and comes with the safety and security of American Express. That's why RP Plus from American Express Serve is going to change your game. Start earning thousands of RP with RP Plus from American Express Serve now. To learn more about the full-service prepaid account, go to serve.com/League of Legends.
Welcome back, everybody, to the 2014 EU LCS as we are joined by Reckless from Fnatic. #GetWrecked.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's seriously, congratulations. What an amazing performance here. 26-0-20 across 3 games. A fantastic partnership with Yellowstar. You know, why don't they ban Jinx against you guys?
I'm actually not sure. For me, Jinx is by far the most broken AD right now. But most people think Lucian is stronger, which I don't after the nerf 2 patches ago maybe or something. So I think it's mostly others considering her weaker than myself.
So obviously, you know, you've come into the team, this is you've said yourself, I've waited a year for this moment. You've come in, you've had a fantastic start alongside Yellowstar. You've been in the house for, what, 6 months now, or maybe a bit less than that. How has this partnership sort of blossomed? Because neither of you have died yet.
I would say after Battle of Atlantic, we both felt that we needed to work on our cooperation as a bot lane. So we were playing a lot together and working on our communication on when to go in and when to not go in and when to back out. And we worked a lot on that in scrims and just duo queue. And then when we're playing here now, it's showing results because we can do pretty cool plays where we go in and then go out in a perfect moment, kind of.
It seems really on point, your cooperation. And after maybe that final at IEM Cologne and then Battle of the Atlantic, did you ever start doubting yourself that it was you that was not doing enough?
Well, I'm kind of always doubting myself. Even when I'm 11-0, I feel like there's moments I can do even better. And I think that's why also I'm here where I am today, because I always want to improve, even when I'm winning. And yeah, kind of.
So we saw towards the end there was a lot of kills going back and forward. There was a lot of opportunities to maybe get some pentakills in there. Was that like the team trying to set you up for them, or were they stopping you?
Well, I got a double kill after mid inhibitor, and then Cyanide stole the 3rd kill, and I got pretty mad. And then I failed to pick up silver kill, so it didn't matter anyways, but I could have got a penta there maybe.
Come back stealing it away from you. I also wanted to ask you, actually, before I forget, I saw you building a pickaxe first, and then BF sort of said, is he going to go Infinity Edge first on Jinx? That would be a little off, but you went for the Bloodthirster anyway.
Well, to me at least, pickaxe is a much more valuable buy than Scepter if you're the one that's winning the lane. So for example, this lane we were kind of pushing them into the tower and I got some small CS advantage all the time, which ended up with me backing with 1300 gold, and then I could either buy a Vampiric Scepter and boots or pickaxe and boots. And since we were winning the lane, I kind of just thought, why not pickaxe? Because it gives me more damage than the Vampiric Scepter, since I don't need the lifesteal. so I just went pickaxe. But I also think Bloodthirster is too strong to not go as first item, so I just ignore the pickaxe until I need later for Last Whisper.
That's the both worlds.
Yeah, and of course, I want to go back to Yellow Star because he's got, what, 27-0-59 stats himself. 27, that's a combined, obviously, with you. He obviously hasn't had 27 kills. He's not the new or second coming Edward. He's had 1-0-39 himself, but 27-0-59 between the two of you. You talked about in the video, you know, how he only needs to say go. Is he the main shot caller now in Fnatic?
I would say he is, especially for the lane. He makes pretty much every call in the lane, and I'm just kind of supporting him, which is a bit of twist, I guess. But in team fights, I usually do the calls and say who we're focusing because I'm the one dealing the damage. So they need to be focusing the same as me because I'm the one with damage. So I just call, go on Shyvana, and then we go on Shyvana, and then keep on going, kind of. That's why Jinx is also very good, because I have my passive, so I can just keep on steamrolling, kind of.
Getting excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So your synergy is fantastic. You guys are playing very well, but it seems like Fnatic as a whole has leveled up. Is that maybe the confidence boost the rest of them also get, knowing that nothing can go wrong in that bottom lane?
I would think, especially for Peke, I think he feels very safe when he knows that the other lanes are performing because he can kind of... do something, because he's kind of a person that if the team falls behind, he feels forced to do plays, and then he might fail or might not fail, but it's easier for him if we're winning our lane. He can just kind of farm and stay back and get this 320 farm in 25 minutes and just be a huge monster kind of in mid lane.
And finally, I want to ask you, is this this newfound victory that you guys had, is it all down to the new addiction that is drinking coffee?
Well, Cyanide drinks a lot of coffee, so he taught me how to, and then I still don't really enjoy to drink it, but I'm trying. I think it's better than energy drink at least, so it looks more grown up at least.
It looks more grown up, or you definitely look grown up in that game. Fantastic game once again. Congratulations, looking forward to what else you can show us. And now let's send it back over to Joe and Quickshot as the next game is ready to get underway.
Thank you very much, Shox, and it is going to be another big one coming your way. Gambit versus Millennium, the former alternate team, of course. Yesterday, Gambit lost to Fnatic in their opening match of the season, but then bounced back to beat the Copenhagen Wolves, who themselves had already looked brilliant by beating Alliance.
Yeah, I want to focus on the Fnatic loss first. Simply put, Gambit fell behind early. They also ran that LeBlanc, and they had no answer to Fnatic's objective-focused gameplay. A very similar game to actually what we just seen. Fnatic rotated, rolled around. I thought it might have been in-game leadership calling, saying like, we need to defend this tower now. I questioned Alex about that during the course of yesterday, and he made it very clear. His composition couldn't challenge. They needed to be exactly even or ahead in order to make those fights, and they simply didn't have it going for them. He struggled on LeBlanc, bounced back and did fantastically as Kha'Zix went 11, 3, and 8. And I think today now in this game against Millennium, which also is going to be difficult, he needs to find a balance between the two. Also, just as a quick throwaway, Edward support Kennen, they picked it because during Champ Select, Alex's words were, we need more damage. Edward, what can you play that has damage? And he said, Amumu or Kennen, so they picked Kennen. That is how in-depth their pick and ban strategy goes, guys.
Sounds like a lot of my games, to be honest with you. Sadly, not quite as good as those guys. On the other side, of course, Millennium managed to pick up their first victory against SK Gaming yesterday. I'm going to be brutally honest here. The fact that they took so long might come back to haunt them if that happens in future games. But as I said, a win is a win at the end of the day.
Yeah, you can't give teams the chance to pull themselves back into it. That very slow lead started with some very decisive dragon control. Their early game and their early dragons were very good. They got 4 of them back-to-back because of superior timing, because of better control of the pit. They had vision in there. They were able to get dragons, grow their lead, and then push onto the mid-game. The thing that stalled them was the fact that they were trying to siege against a Ziggs and a Lucian. And we touched on this earlier, how Ziggs is probably one of the best champions at defending towers. He's got great wave clear, his Hextech Minefield and his ultimate actually deals full damage to minions now, which is why he's so good at pushing off waves. And I think in this matchup, if Ziggs is allowed to go through, Millennium will have to find different ways of tower diving or dealing with that wave clear.
Really excited to get this one underway to see exactly what's going to come. In terms of the picks and bans, Aranea told me earlier on, Joe, yeah, it's going to be cool picks and bans in his Spanish accent, and then
so
just kind of laughed afterwards, which left me thinking, oh my god, I have no idea what that even means. He could just be trolling me. They could just be picking 5 very random champions that we've not seen yet. Who knows? Of course, they're coming into this match. Millennium are lucky to finally take a win from the one team that has remained unbeatable for them after the 4 clashes in the last split.
I always thought that Gambit is like our nemesis team.
Yeah, we played them 4 times last season and we lost all 4.
So we will always be like at the top 2 no matter what.
We never screened the teams that we're going to play, so we didn't screen any of the teams that we're playing this week.
The domination they have is kind of coming from the solo lane, so if you can interrupt that, you're mostly gonna win.
They are definitely could be a great team. They can play really amazing.
I don't really know what they're going to bring up and what will they play.
It's probably going to be really hard for us to beat them, but still, we should do our best.
Because that team is just a counter to your playstyle, to your early playstyle, mid playstyle, whatever. Then if you come with a different style, you can beat them easy.
And that might just be the secret that Aranea was talking about. If you come with these different playstyles that they know, they've already got a counter. So if you come with something new, maybe you can beat them.
I think it's going to be difficult for Aranea. I think he's got a very gank-centric style of gameplay, and he's going to have to be more passive, which is not something Aranea does well.
No, or be quiet, we've already noticed over the course of the last year as well. Let's check out the starting lineup, guys. Starting on the blue side with Millennium. They are, of course, Kevin in the top lane, Aranea in the jungle, Kerp in the mid lane, Creaton the AD carry, and J-Ree the support.
And, of course, in their home colors, on the red side, it is the men in suits Gambit. Darian up top, Diamond in the jungle, Alex in the mid lane, in theory, with Genja and Edward as your AD carry and support.
Well, we're going to look a little bit deeper into this game and feature the junglers, Aranea versus Diamond. Both of these players put up some mind-boggling numbers at Battle of the Atlantic, where they came out victorious for us here in Europe. Sadly, that didn't quite work out in the grand scheme of things, but we'll brush past that one. And yesterday, Aranea picked his default comfort pick with Vi, got them the win.
Yeah, it's something that he keeps going to over and over. And Battle of the Atlantic, they managed to take down both CLG and XDG respectively in very, very convincing wins. It was something that we haven't seen that level of domination from EU to NA in a while. Yesterday, however, slightly different story. Diamond Prox went 5, 4, and 15 in his 2 games. Aranea 2, 3, and 12. Nowhere near as dominant. We've already touched on this already, that Aranea, he likes to gank early. He really likes to drive momentum to his lanes and tries to get them snowballing because there's so much talent in there. But the problem is, when he doesn't get them going, they struggle. And that's part of the reason that Millennium/Alternate didn't do so well in the summer split last year. If they didn't get going early, they had nowhere to go from that. They didn't have that comeback power and potential.
And from Diamond's side, he showed that old school Diamond Shyvana style when he had him in the jungle, counter jungling the entire time against Fnatic. In the end, that didn't quite work out, I think, the way that Gambit had foreseen that. But in game 2, we returned to the old classic of Lee Sin.
Yeah, so for game 1, you know, he set the pace very much on the counter jungling. I feel that he forgot about ganking and pushing the lanes, or put more emphasis on jungle control, and that could have helped them against Fnatic. The one thing that is definitely in stark contrast between these 2 players is the champion pools. You know, Diamond Prox has played Jarvan, Evelynn, we saw him playing Karma, he likes to run Shyvana. On the other side, Aranea has played Elise, Hecarim, Vi, so very different, and, you know, win-loss records of varying numbers for both of these 2, but I feel that in this matchup, Diamond Prox is actually stronger at counter jungling, and he picks smarter ganks. However, his presence in lane is less felt than Aranea, so we'll have to see if Diamond is going to be able to react and counter gank Aranea, because that could be very key in disrupting the early game power of Millennium.
The fact that Aranea told me early on to expect some interesting choices, some different choices in this one, almost makes me cautious to ask what should we expect in this game, because from that you can almost say, well, what can we expect? He said in the video as well that you can't play an old play style against Gambit because they've got you all worked out. You need to bring something new to the table.
So if that is the case, then I think the jungles that could sort of fit the mold, we could be seeing something maybe like a Xin Zhao, maybe like a Kha'Zix, something that's got pretty, well, Kha'Zix has got good wave clear, jungle clear, allows you to farm up a little bit more, maybe not being as readable. And I think if we are going to, you know, go along that way, it's going to come down to picks and bans. If Gambit throw a curveball and, you know, Millennium aren't ready for a particular champion being banned, they will default to their comfort picks like we often see.
Well, let's have a look then. We're into Champion Select. First ban coming out instantly for Millennium is Evelynn. Just annoying to play against. A good Evelynn player these days, especially out of the jungle. Someone like Diamond, who himself, you know, even when Evelynn, you could argue, was maybe a bit weaker with the old vision, you know, still played in then. They're going to ban out Shyvana as well, and he banned out from Gambit side of things.
So Thresh is still available, and I know that, you know, J-Ree and Edward both played very, very good Threshers. Edward actually played Thresh yesterday. He played Kennen in the second game. So if Thresh gets through, I think that is definitely a pick they could go for. Edward has been talking about 3 different champions that he has available, 3 of these new picks. We've seen him play a Mumu Battle of the Atlantic. We've seen him play Kennen yesterday. So we can't say for certain that that bottom lane is going to default to those sort of picks.
Kassadin was taken away there. What a surprise. Kassadin banned out again. On the other side, Gale is becoming more, I almost hesitant to say more and more popular. It is ever so slightly more and more popular, and we've seen, you know, NIP are a victim of this, I guess we could say, from promotion, that when a Gale gets to a certain point, he just nukes everything, including towers, and it means he can push very quickly. We know that Alex can play that very well. That's taken away. Final ban for Gambit here actually is going to be LeBlanc. Kerp, very good LeBlanc player, somehow with a trackball, but he is.
It boggles my mind, and the reason I like the Gale being removed there is the defensive power that ultimate gives you. It's actually what allowed Copenhagen Wolves to be aligned. They were able to react very positively. With Mondo going through, the one thing we have missed is that Yasuo was available, as we've seen. I think that is not locked in just yet. Now, the interesting thing about Gambit is that both Darian and Alexic have actually been playing Yasuo in solo queue and spamming him. After something like 51 or 52 games, Darian had an average death of less than 1. It was 0.8 or so after playing 50-odd games with that number. So he's a very skilled player, but you have to imagine Millennium have anticipated this. They wouldn't let it go through without anticipating it was going to be picked up.
Unless they've made a bit of a grave error and totally forgot about him, which you just don't expect from these teams at this point of things. And actually, it's going to be switched away from, but I'm telling you guys, we can still expect that Yasuo if, you know, looking into our research is anything to go by. And, well, it will be actually there because we've just seen it picked up by Alternate. Other side, Jinx, Lee Sin. It wasn't locked in, sorry. So
not locked in.
My monitor's a little bit wonky here. I can't quite tell if they're locked in without really going over there. But Teemo's not going to be picked by Millennium.
I have to be honest. I do think Yasuo at some point is going to be picked. I know both of these teams are practicing them and playing that champion an extensive amount. Aranea, if he locks in this Vi, he flat out trolled you, Joe, I'm afraid, because that is going to be that Vi in the jungle. This is also a smart pick because it makes Gambit more hesitant to lock in Yasuo. Knowing that you've got a Leona that could follow in after the Vi means that that squishy assassin of Yasuo, who plays a very similar role to a Zed, can get very, very easily countered in mid to late game team fights.
No, but Millennium might think about having a Yasuo in the team with a Vi there. Whether that knock up, we'll have to see about that one. Still some interesting questions to be answered. We are going to see Genji, of course, playing Jinx this time around, and we'll have Lee Sin with Diamond, who had a great game yesterday, actually, in that win, their first win of the season against the Copenhagen Wolves. Actually finished 3-1-13 with that, and really helped get Alex snowball in mid.
And Kha'Zix is available here as well. If we know that Yasuo is a potential pick, you could go for something like a Kha'Zix. You have the ability to jump in, get involved. There's a lot of damage that can go down from both of the players. And it comes down to whoever gets help from their jungler more, or whoever gets more poked down early. And Darian, he's just once again gone with Warwick. And he wants to stay in that top lane, sustain for as long as possible. I really don't know how this is going to work because you've got great initiation from Vi, great initiation from Warwick, but Vi does it a little bit better.
I wonder how many times you're going to...
I'm going to try.
It's hard to get rid of an old habit of calling him like that. J-Ree is another one of the master support trolls when it comes to picking things up. He'll be flashing all the way through until the very last seconds of this one. And I'm also going to be mad at Aranea if he lied to me earlier and they just picked something standard here. I'm
going to be a little bit nervous. We may not see Yasuo because of the threat of that Vi-Leona combination. I think if Gambit were to lock Yasuo in now, it would be a very confident pick because he could get locked down, or Jinx could get locked down by either one of those two. Gragas, if this gets locked in, can then disperse the rest of the Gambit team. I think that is a very, very good pick and ban phase here for Millennium. Kha'Zix is available if they want to go Assassin. Yasuo, the same thing. I'm almost expecting an Orianna here because it's a safe pick. You can put the shield onto that Vi, onto the target that is being targeted. You can put Command Protect on your teammate that is being dove by Vi, is the words I wanted to look for. And as I was saying that, they've locked in Riven.
They've locked in Riven. So I'm actually, you know, I said about the fact that Aranea said we're going to be interesting picks in this one, blah, 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 blah. Actually, I think this is better for Millennium here. This is a strong lineup of champions. They've got comfort champions, I think, pretty much across the board. And that leaves them maybe in a better position than trying something risky against Gambit.
Gambit are the ones trying something risky here. They've got a different composition. They've got a very sort of chase-heavy comp. Lots of mobility with Lee, with Warwick, with Riven. They can chase down target after target on the condition that Leona, Vi, and Gage does not kill one of their damage-dealing characters. Gambit have got, I think, more options to win team fights. And it's going to be an interesting sustained battle between the Dr. Mundo and the Warwick in that top lane if they go toe-to-toe, because they've both got such innate ability to stay alive.
Interesting is the word you use for that one.
Yes.
Interesting in non-interesting terms. We'll have to see. Who knows? Darian has got a lot of swag and might just go for the kills. We're not quite sure about that one. Guys, let's have a look who you at home think are going to win this game. And I can tell you again, it's a big amount of you that think that one team's going to win. 85% of you have voted that Gambit are going to take down Millennium. I'm going to see how that prediction holds up, but it's, again, a very, very confident vote. They weren't wrong last time around.
I would have felt this was a lot closer. I would definitely have felt that this matchup was a lot closer. Millennium as a team, I think, are a little bit underrated at this point in time. Kerp is a phenomenal mid laner. He's very solid. We've only seen good games from him over the course of, you know, the last few appearances. And we talked about it yesterday, how solid Kevin is. Kevin seldom makes massive mistakes and costs people games. So we'll have to see if that stability helps him out here today.
Mr. Reliable is Kevin. We'll see if that keeps going. Let's get in game then. It is Gambit versus Millennium. And a big game for both of these teams. The fact that Millennium sat at 1-0, Gambit have the same amount of wins on paper as well. Of course, they did lose one game yesterday against Fnatic. So this is an opportunity to kind of claw that ranking position back and try and catch up to Fnatic, who are right now, they're running away with things at the top after 2 days.
Yeah, and you can see why they're running away with it. I think every aspect of the game is absolutely phenomenal right now. Gambit, in this composition, have the ability to also get a very quick lead that they can then snowball very heavily. Riven, Jinx, and Lee Sin can scale very, very quickly in the early stages of the game, and they've got a great power spike, you know, in the sort of 12 to 20 minute mark. If they can start roaming, getting some towers down, because of all the mobility, it allows them to pick up kills and objectives with great ease.
What's going to happen here at level 1? It was Fnatic actually that were tried a little bit funkiness in that level 1 earlier on. However, Gambit have done it as well in that first opening game of the season against Fnatic, where they ended up, well, dying at level 1. They're not going to want to do that one again. Looks like J-Ree has actually got a bit of a problem right now. Apparently he can't use his Q spell, which Edward replies, spoiler, you got Q.
Well, we'll see how this works out. The admins are, of course, looking into this one, trying to see if there are problems. The one thing that I am interested to see is how well Gambit play now today, fresh on the first game. Gambit as a team have traditionally not started very quickly. You know, they tend to fall a little bit behind in the early stages of tournaments and in games, and they pick it back up as the tournament goes forward. Yesterday, similar situation. They lost to Fnatic quite badly. And when we interviewed Alex after the victory against Copenhagen Wolves, he broke down, you know, we said, how did you lose? 2.5 minutes later, he broke down every single individual thing. This went wrong, that went, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. So as a team, they've definitely gone backstage, talked about it, broken it down, and analyzed what not to do for future matches.
Just a quick update, it's actually Kevin who couldn't use his Q. Obviously playing Dr. Mundo might be crucial to be able to throw your Q out as Dr. Mundo. He's just had a bit of restart, so he will be back in the game here just shortly, hopefully. That was just a little bit of an issue, not actually his Q key or something on his keyboard that's not working anymore.
The one thing I do want to talk about these compositions is that I prefer Gambit's champions for skirmishes. I think they'll do much better in 2v2s, 3v3s if they go for a split push game, if they're roaming around the map. The moment we get into bigger 5v5s, I think that Millennium's composition has got a clearer engage, has got better disengage. I think they do all of the factors that can help you win team fights, in, out, runaway, damage, slightly better. Because for Gambit, it's all down to Riven, Warwick, and Lee Sin, wreaking havoc with Jinx from the back line.
His Warwick games, actually, just to statistically talk about them, ones against the Wolves yesterday, 4-1-10, he ended up with that one. Was in the later game used to lock people down most of the time and to chase, of course, at the end. Against XDG at Battle of the Atlantic, 4-3-10, he ended up with that one. So same amount of kills, same amount of assists over both of those games. We'll see how he goes up here against Mr. Reliable Kevin on Mundo.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that matchup plays out. As we said, interesting is the phrase we're going to go with for this matchup. Whether or not that turns out to be true will be determined, as we do see Edward and Jerry just showing a little bit of force, saying we've got our trinkets as well, getting some vision. No invades from either of these teams, and once again we are going to see those straight head-to-head matchups. Our solo lane is up top and our duo lane is down bottom.
Yeah, I've seen most of this one. Important for the duo laners to be roughly at the same time there to this bottom lane, just to make sure that they don't lose out on that race to level 2, which with someone like Leona can be very important for you.
Yeah, that is definitely the case, especially once they race to get those skills available. The all-in potential in the lower levels is determined by whoever pulls the trigger first and lands that CC. Ironically, as we're talking about bottom lane, actually Kerp and Alex trade some damage back and forth at level 1. Gragas can actually do pretty well once he starts to get that attack damage buff of his Drunken Rage, so maybe a little bit wary of that.
Yeah, we'll see if Alex decides to go aggressive once he starts to level up here a little bit. Kerp keeping his distance right now, and there is Alex going in once again. And then goes back off, and there he has hit level 2. Kerp getting it exactly the same time though, so I'm guessing his point's gone into the body slam there too, so he can keep himself safe.
He actually drank,
his W,
actually drank from the Drunken Rage. At level 1, it's plus 30 bonus attack damage. So as long as Kerp reads the situation well, he can actually come out ahead in trades. His passive as well will also allow him to regenerate some HP. So he should actually get a little bit of authority in that lane, unless he gives up a kill. If he gives up a kill and Alex is able to continually win fights over and over, then Kerp is not going to be able to pull himself back in. So the very first kill between these two is incredibly important to determine the tempo of the rest of the lane.
See that Alex is ahead by a decent margin here in terms of CS. Actually going to go in here on towards Kerp, but that's a lot of damage. Half of Kerp's health bar disappears.
And that's exactly what Alex is going to keep trying to do. Whenever you play Riven, you have to continually get in your face. And yesterday, Alex was doing that with LeBlanc against Pekes Oriana. He kept control of the lane, he had superior farm. Right now, the two junglers of our featured matchup, they're running toe-to-toe. Level 3 Diamond, he'll take the big wolf.
Takes the big wolf and actually landing the Q here on towards Aranea. This could force a flash out of Aranea, and as I say, Aranea flashes away. Diamond says, not bothered about chasing from that one. I'll take what's in your jungle, and I'm happy you've got no flash for the future.
If that had been a second or two later, Diamond could have followed up with a Sonic Wave. There was 3 seconds on the clock before it went in, so almost kill potential there, and Alex has caught Kerp.
Yeah, going straight in onto him with this one. Got to get the knock up and almost dodging the barrel, almost not being really fully there, but he's doing a great job here. 24 to 13 CS, and we can see that Diamond hanging off to the side. Kerp should have a little bit of an inkling that he's around there somewhere after Aranea was forced to flash earlier on. In the end, they don't see an opening, and Kerp will be safe for now.
With Kerp being so low on mana right now, Alex is in no threat of taking additional barrel poke, and he can just carry on diving onto Kerp as long as he's in front of the tower.
Yeah, going straight on into him. Actually, again goes in. Does take a turret hit this time around, but Kerp again, not really even able to farm things up, and Alex has doubled the CS of his opposite number. This bottom lane been fairly quiet up until now.
Yeah, at this point in time, Alex is just in complete control of mid because of the way he's played this early game. The bottom lane, 5 CS difference. I mean, they're not going in for each other. Level 3 Leona versus level 3 Thresh. Also 2 exhausts as far as our supports are concerned, and also flash teleports for our top laners. So let's keep that in mind as they get closer to level 6. The first real sort of gank in lane, as it were. RNA is trying to sneak into the bottom lane, but a ward in that bush will reveal him. So no real attempt coming from that one. I think, with the exception of mid lane, fairly slow farming start between Millennium and Gambit.
Which is, I think, what we expected from this one, to be honest. Millennium yesterday ramped up slowly. I think it's fair to say against SK. They had a big lead, but look at this. Diamond has come around the back, and Kevin, as Mundo, not got his ultimate just yet. That's a good briefcase thrown in there, and Diamond actually taking quite a lot of damage there, and he might have to just back off. Yep, they've not got the damage at this point to finish off a Mundo.
Yeah, it did need to get away just a little bit there. Sonic Wave applying some damage, pulling him into the bushes. Right now, though, the one thing we want to talk about, the first back from Kerp on that Gragas. He's got himself 3 Doran's rings. So, feeling the pinch, feeling the pressure of Alex in that mid lane, he wants the additional HP, ability power, and mana regen to try and throw out more barrels and make up that CS difference. He was about 15 or 20 down. That is still sitting in about the same case. And we'll have to see if Alex can maintain that lane dominance with his Vamp Scepter and Pickaxe.
Bottom lane. Still, I think, dangerous in the fact that you've got Leona and Thresh in there. When one of them, especially Edward, you know, he's a guy that once he's made his mind up, he's definitely going to be going in for that one. Jerry, we'll see if he has a similar thought to this one. There's the continued dominance. The mid lane RNA are not going to come around. He's currently level 4. Going to do a bit more farming. He's right now 6 CS back behind that of Diamond, who is on the top side of his own jungle doing the golems.
Yeah, crucially, he doesn't have that flash available. It will be up in the next sort of minute and a half. And the first invade that we've seen from Diamond was incredibly successful. He found Aranea. Lee Sin is a better duelist at levels 1 to 4 than Vi is. Until Vi gets some items, he's not really going to be able to contest with all of the additional damage and kill potential that Lee Sin offers. So, Aranea playing a little bit of catch-up. As we see Diamond once again moving to his red buff. I think we may see Diamondprox moving into lane once he gets these next buffs. I think that's probably going to be the signal. He's got his Dragon Rage available, his kill potential with all of the CC in the middle, the top lane, and the bottom lane, as long as some of those hooks or flame chompers connect.
Millennium here just backed off somewhat from this bottom lane. Couple of wards coming down, and Jerry actually getting all 3 hits off required onto that one. That will mean, and it's pretty much waste. Obviously came from the trinket, so not really costing them anything in the long run, but a ward that's not giving you any vision could, in theory, be costing you.
Yeah, very smart positioning there from Jerry. Still hanging out in the bushes, trying to just, play a little bit of zoning. For those of you that don't know, Leona's Q, the Shield of Daybreak, it actually resets your auto attack. So you can land an auto attack, Q the ward, and then immediately land another one. That's what allows you to get it down before it hits the stealth. And as we were talking about, Diamond now level 6. He does have that red buff available. He's now setting up a gank. He's actually foregone the blue buff, which has respawned. And if Creatine and Jerry stick around or they get caught, they could be in trouble.
Yeah, the hook missing. The Q will land, but it's onto Jerry, level 5 Leona. And Diamond says, nope, that's not going to happen. We're going to back off. Actually, Alex and Kerp going to exchange some damage from this one. And Alex going pretty aggressive there. That's forced Kerp away.
So 2 things very quickly. The bottom lane, that was an uninspiring gank. Death Sentence didn't connect. Diamondprox lands his Sonic Wave and backs away. In the mid lane, Kerp actually psychs Alex out, makes Alex think that a explosive cask is coming in, and almost anticipating the battle, throws down his ultimate. However, now, here comes Lee.
Oh, the kick back there on towards Kerp, who separates them both with the barrel. He's going to body slam away as well with the use of his flash. And he gets away. Incredible.
Very nicely done. Dodging that 3rd strike of the broken wings from Riven would have knocked him up in the air, allowed more of those red buff stacks to be applied, and just slowed and held in place, potentially to be killed. So, nice reply from Diamond. Manages to get another flash out of Millennium. But for the time being, no kills on the board as we approach the 10-minute mark.
Level 6 RNA just throwing off a ward into the Dragon Pit. And we're almost at 10 minutes here. It's usually the kind of time where Gambit are already thinking about going towards Dragon, but also you might argue a time where Gambit have maybe already got something on the board to allow those Dragon plays to come in, and right now it's pretty damn even across the board.
Yeah, I think because we've got the straight head-to-head matchups of the 2v2s and 1v1s, etc., it slows down your landing phase. It extends it quite naturally because you're trading. You can see Millennium's tower has barely been touched, as is a very similar situation for the Gambit squad. And until a clear victory has been won with a kill or with immense vision control, I don't think we're going to see that Dragon being started. The first real aggressive play on the map is coming from Millennium, as they want to make a play for red buff. It has already been taken. It was a little while ago, and we do see RNA catching Diamond out.
Yeah, going on to him, and actually they're going to throw Assault and Battery his way, but have they got the follow-up onto it? No, they haven't. Did use his kick there in that one, so that's, you know, an ultimate for an ultimate. The junglers both losing out on that front.
Yeah, nicely done there by Diamond, just to get away. Very cheeky from Kerp, actually steals the Wraith, and I think had Diamond been a little bit slower on that Dragon's Rage kick backwards, Kerp could have potentially gone in range. He had no flash available thanks to the gank, so there was no flash cast that could come down. Diamond, once again, playing a little bit safe, or rather getting out quite cleanly, so well played to him there. Millennium right now, I think, keeping up. CS numbers even across the board, and considering how much pressure Kerp was feeling very early on, I think he's done very well for that Gragas.
Farm down on this bottom lane. Actually, 5 different. That's been how it's been for the entire game almost at this stage. Now we do have 2 parts of the Trinity Force for Creaton. And Genja actually with that BF sword, a second Doran's Blade and the long sword from a little earlier on as well. The supports also going a similar route.
I don't think either of these dual lanes really want to have a big fight, because we haven't seen Jerry going in for any engagements. Now that he's got Solar Flare and RNA moving up, this may be the go signal. And even Edward's, you know, death sentences, they've been a little bit lackluster here. We do see Diamond Prox has stood right on top of a ward there, so Millennium will be aware of his positioning. And if RNA comes in, he doesn't have that Assault and Battery, so they need to draw out this bait a little bit longer before RNA has got that guaranteed lockdown. Maybe once Diamond is gone, this is the signal now to go, and they've done it!
Yeah, they have Diamond out of that one. There's the ultimate coming out of Leona, and True Shot Barrage comes across as well. In the end, they're not able to pick up a kill, but Creaton going aggressive. The zap will slow him down. They've landed the hook as well, but Gambit can't follow through, and Millennium bully them out.
If Edward sticks around, Assault and Battery's available, RNA may throw himself in.
Yeah, they've thrown the box down there. There is RNA going down. He's taking a lot of damage and actually gets away from the turret, but look at this. Warwick's coming around the back. They're all low. This could be disaster. This could be disaster for Millennium. Darian going to ulti in towards RNA. Creaton going low. Have they got the damage to finish him off? 1 or 2 more hits will do it. Uses a barrier. It's a kill for Diamond. There is Kevin now in the bottom lane, and Gambit walk off. That's 3 for 1.
Very good turnaround from Gambit. They lost Edward under the tower, but a very clear call that a teleport was coming in from Darian. Edward threw himself into Millennium, held the members in place long enough for Darian to arrive. Thanks to the kills that they've secured and the numbers advantage, plus having Smite available, they now grab themselves a Dragon as well and give themselves a 2,000 gold lead. That was very good calling from Gambit and very good reactionary play, realizing, hey, we're going to lose members under the tower, but we can turn it around by picking up kills and following it with the Dragon.
Let's have a look down some of the items now. We've got, I say a bit of a breather. That was the only real action that we have seen so far. If we look up towards the top lane, Darian in there with the Chalice. Just finished off his Wit's End as well after picking that last kill up. We also have the BF sword added into the Vamp Scepter for Riven in the middle, and we can see that Gragas, Kerp, pretty standard start against someone like Riven, picking up the Seeker's Arm Guard for the start of it.
Yeah, because he's gone for the triple Dorans, it's actually also slowed him down from progressing further in his build. Currently sitting on just shy of 1,600 gold, so needs to get a good couple hundred more up before he can finish off the likes of that Zhonya's Hourglass. But when you're facing all of the physical damage that Riven's putting out, you can't afford to go for MR or a similar build. We actually seen Kautar doing that on Zyra yesterday. It didn't work out for him. You know, focusing on that Athene's and Holy Grail against the Kha'Zix. So smart decision making from Kerpen. It's keeping him alive. He's still only 10 CS down.
Right, if we look at the gold total here over the game, 2,000 is what Gambit lead with. Obviously, all things considered, that 3-1 kill scoreline and the Dragon straight after that as well. We can see the individual scores there from the lanes, and Between most of them, there's not that much of a difference. It's just in the jungle, really.
Yeah, and that's, of course, because of the fact that Diamond's got himself that kill in there. He's also managed to be involved with the Dragon pickup, so a little bit more global gold on his side of the map. They've caught Edward at great in it.
Great, indeed. And the box goes down, and that stops J-Ree from pushing any further through. The Chompers came in as well. We did see Kerp starting to roam down that bottom side, but in the end, not really able to lock them up. You have to give credit to Edward as well for the flay that stopped J-Ree coming in.
Yeah, immediately just pulled him backwards and prevented that. The solar flare was a tiny bit off. I think good reactionary play. Now, with Diamond Procs moving towards the river, if a death sentence connects, they may want to be going in for a fight. As I start saying that, I'm a little unsure about where he wants to move. See, death sentence does catch out Creatin. There comes Genja.
That was a brilliant hook coming in, but Creatin able to walk away. There's the Chompers onto J-Ree, which means he takes a lot of damage. Genja has the Lantern there for safety, but he's happy to do the damage. There's a super mega death rocket. And Creatin survives with about 20 HP, I think, overall from that one. So very close for Genja.
Very close indeed. As it stands right now, the hook goes out, doesn't connect Aranan. Genja, you feel like they deserved that one. Connected every single shot, forcing the dual lane of Millennium backwards. Alex and Diamond are trying to roam. Sonic Wave has caught Aranan. Here comes Alex.
Oh, Alex coming in there as well, but they couldn't quite get behind them. Get that kick on there. That's what Diamond was looking for. Throw one back into the team. Millennium have replied by coming over to this bottom side. I think Gambit might want to be heading away from this one. There's a barrel. It locks down two of them. Edward's a dead man. Kurt gets that. Assault and battery goes all the way through the wall. There's a solar flare as well. Genja's not getting out of this one. That will be Aranea's kill. And Millennium turning around just like that.
Very good turnaround, but that is a mistake from Gambit. They dove for the kills. Got me super excited that they were going to go for the fight, and Alex backed away. Unfortunately, the rest of the team did not respond as quickly. As such, they lose 2 kills. Alex has dealt a lot of damage on the mid lane tower, but has been unable to secure it. First tower of the game should in fact be falling as Millennium try to shove this one down. They're actually denying CS here from Gambit's dual lane. Will eventually fall victim, so a very good reactionary play to Gambit's overextension.
You're allowed to get overexcited. I casted a replay yesterday, so you're allowed one of them per day, I've been told. Alex here just making sure that his turret doesn't take too much damage as Kurt just throws that wave back in his direction. So after that, we're all tied up on the kills. Obviously, Millennium have that turret advantage. Gold's, yeah, it's been brought back here to about 1,000 between them. We've got the Dragon coming up in less than 2 minutes. That's our next big fight point, surely.
Now, yesterday, Millennium had great Dragon control against SK Gaming. In this matchup, they were unable to secure the first one because, of course, they lost the fight. And I think Gambit is still probably my favorite team when it comes to Dragon control in Europe. I think they put more emphasis on that objective than many of the other European teams. And we'll see how Millennium decide to challenge. There's a lot of wards down already for Gambit in and around that river that are starting to time out, so they'll need to refresh those as Dragon is getting closer to spawning, and that could be the next point of contention.
1 minute to go on that one. Jerry's got a pink ward inside of the Tribush, plus a couple around that Dragon pit as well. So the duo's going to face off here once again. In terms of items, Creatin already got that Trinity Force in there. The Bloodthirster on the other side. There's a Bloodthirster for Alex along with the Brutalizer as well. I already talked about that Zonya's Hourglass a little earlier for Kerp. In terms of the tanky top lanes, we only really saw with that teleport coming down there. Sunfire Cape for Mundo, that Wit's End, the Chalice, and now a Giant's Belt added in actually for Darian on Warwick.
Yeah, it's a similar build that he did yesterday, in fact, and like he ran at Battle of the Atlantic. A very good build, and you know, this interesting matchup is just a farm fest. Once again, with both top laners running Flash Teleport, there's very little possibility of them killing each other without jungle aid or even mid lane aid in this situation. And with teleports being available and Dragon coming up, look at the vision for both of these teams. There are 3 Gambit wards close to the pit, 3 Millennium wards just below the pit, so they should be aware of when this objective is being started. And I think that both of these top laners will most likely get involved by using those teleports at some point.
There's no way they can clear everything out there. 2 lenses to 1 actually, Millennium 2 on their side. Both supports actually got it. It's Aranea that makes the difference on that front of things, and that will allow them to clear a little bit out. Pink Ward's also down as well for both teams, although one is in the Tribush, one neat Death Bush on the top side of the Dragon Pit. And Alex there just going in towards RNA. He's like, nope, I'm getting away from that one. And as we said, Dragon, not really either team having too much control of it, which means they're a little bit uneasy now. Yeah, very smart play by RNA. The moment Alex showed his face, he backed away with Vault Breaker. He does not want to get caught out because there's a lot of burst that can come down from that Brutalizer plus Bloodthirster Riven. The wards are timing out and getting replaced by both of these teams, and Diamond has been hanging around the bottom half of the map. This is the second or third time he sort of moved towards the Dragon before now recalling, and it's just a matter of time before they make an attempt on it. As it stands though, I think all the teams, all the players happy to keep farming. The only one that's falling a little bit behind right now is in fact Kerb. He's not farming his Wraith Camp as effectively as Alex is farming his own Wraith Camp, and that's why there's a 30 CS difference between the two of them right now. Well, Millennium moving a couple of men down. Kerb walked over that Pink Ward. Should have seen it. Should be able to take it down.
Not using attack move, and that's cost you that little situation. Gambit, I think, smart decision making here. Tower in the middle may go down. There's a teleport already coming in from Warwick. It may be too late for Dragon. Smite is available. Question is, who's going to get it?
Oh, they've got time here. Actually, Darian going straight into the middle of them. The Dragon is actually taken in the end by Gambit, but we can see how low they've got. Alex It finally joins at the front side, though. Arenea's surely going to fall here, and Warwick will surely be chasing straight through onto things, although he is a little bit low, so they need to be careful with this one. Briefcase not connecting, and only one death so far in this fight. That's on Edward's side. Gambit did get the Dragon, though.
Yeah, very nicely done. The suppression was thrown onto Aranea. It's one of the only, I believe it's the only thing that can prevent you smiting under those circumstances. So Diamond Prox gets into range, manages to put a lot of damage down. Lying to entirely, he didn't even do it. It's just a straight steal. Straight steal. I've just quickly rewound the battle, and Diamond Prox straight up beat Aranea. So well played there. That's thrown me off completely.
It's not something you want just to be simply outside. Here we go, we can see that one again.
Yeah, there we go. This is exactly what we're talking about. Smite from Aranea was very early. I think he was anticipating a little bit more burst damage from the rest of his team. And then once again, you see a situation where Kevin is low on Dr. Mundo. He's unable to affect the back line of Gambit. And because he's not running amok amongst the Gambit members, they're able to just push Millennium backwards, push them out of the fight, and force them on the back foot, allowing the chase potentially of Riven, Lee, and Warwick to scare them back to the tower.
Back to farming, I think, is the plan for both of these teams right now. It's been pretty much the overlying plan for most of this game. 2,500 gold lead that Gambit have right now certainly will start to show for them. CS lead in the mid lane is quite big, and they are going to go in here, but I'm not sure that Alex will fall to this one. There's a lot to throw it in there, a lot of CC. The barrel comes in. Alex knocked around all over the place, and it's hard to escape from that one.
It's incredibly difficult. Fact of the matter is, that actually took a very long time. You know, they had to commit a lot of time, every single individual resource to that one, and it ended up costing them. Now, Aranea and Kerb still wanting to fight with Darian and Diamond. They've got to be careful because neither of them have their ultimates available. So if they were to get CC'd, with the aid of Edward, it may have been enough to get the kills. And I think that's worrying for Millennium. I think if they have to commit that much time and that many resources to killing Alex, these next team fights could go very differently. Now, once again, Aranea is throwing himself at Darian.
Oh, that's a great wall breaker coming in onto him, but actually Darian doesn't really care and just hungering strikes his way back.
Yeah, going to use that passive, keeps healing up. Now he's going to fight.
It is going to fight things. Kevin actually popping his ultimate, kind of walking in, walking out. What shall I do? I'm not quite so sure. And that's obviously going to regen him up greatly in this one. So not really in danger of going down. In fact, it'll probably just reset this into, well, that top lane match that we've been seeing all along.
Yeah, look at those heals. The damage from Hungering Strike is percentage HP damage. It's 16% of the target's maximum HP. Oh. So if he's hitting Kevin, who's got a Sunfire Cape and a Giant's Belt, that is a massive amount of HP. It actually heals him 80% of the damage dealt. And all of his auto attacks, every time he hits a minion or monster or champion, he's getting health back from those as well. So it's so difficult to push a Warwick out of lane. I want to see how it transitions now as this game goes forward, because the suppression is going to allow him to lock down Ezreal who's one of the slipperiest AD carriers. So as long as Alexic can follow the suppression dive, I think Creaton's going to be in trouble in these upcoming fights.
RNA just came to the top lane to make sure that turret stayed safe. It's not at half HP, and in the end, actually, Darian had decided not to push on straight through. So 1,000 gold for Darian as well, so might go and turn that into something in a little while. 1,700 gold for Genja to spend as well there on Jinx. He's still behind in the CS, but that difference has not really got bigger.
No, not at all. It stayed static, and of course, as long as you're not falling further and further behind, that's fine. I think Genja's Jinx, by no means as dominant as Reckless's Jinx right now, it can still scale and offer you more damage, especially with that ultimate. I've talked about execution so many times, and I really think it needs to be stated once again, because you're going to combo that splash damage plus execute with rivets. And as soon as Diamond Prox and Darian jump onto somebody, those two can clean up and they can carry on chasing down. So that's where the cleanup crew has to be for Gambit. Only 2 towers have fallen at 25 minutes, and this is by far the slowest game, because I think even SK Millennium had more action and fights by this point in the matchup yesterday.
Yeah, Millennium were a mile ahead at this point, 25 minutes. Unfortunately for us, or for them, for whoever, it took another 25 minutes for them to actually close the game out. But they say it themselves, they're not here to be really flashy, they just want to get the job done and get the points on the board.
Well, at this point in time, they're behind, and that's not going to happen. So, 3,000 gold behind Gambit, 1 tower down. Finally, Darian's sustain in lane allows him to push Kevin away. He's still sticking to that top lane, and you can see Aranea rinse and repeat kill on Alex, but Diamond was there to back him up. So, if they want to commit all of that time and that resources, Diamond may be able to put a spanner in the works and get rid of them, as it were. Dragon's going to be coming up in about 30 seconds time. Teleport's once again available for our top laners. So within a minute or two of it spawning, I think that's going to be the next time they fight in Millennium. If they want to focus Dragon, they have to do it quicker, and they cannot afford to get slow away. Diamond had a very good steal last time, just straight up outsmarted him.
Couple of recalls coming in. Alex is going back on. Actually, leave just 5 seconds until Dragon comes in. Lenny went now, very active right now. They would have the man advantage down there, but Ward right at the front of the Ward's going in at the backside, not really making him feel all that confident, really turning the corner and trying to get involved in the action there.
No, I think the fact that they've got vision of the pit and they realize that Gambit are attempting it right now, they're going to play it a little safe. I think they've also got a very good steal potential. If Arnaud can throw himself over the wall, plus Gragas barrels, it's something you always have to consider, always. The burst of Smite plus Explosive Cask is very, very high. Right now, the fact that Kerp is miles away means Dragon's been started. Aranel's going to try steal.
Oh, he's going to go in for that one, but, well, Diamond, safe as ever on that Smite. Edward actually just sat at the back of things, trying to bully Aranea away, who just waits for his Vault Breaker to come off cooldown and escapes again. Gambit will be fine with that, though. No need to really have any kind of risky fight. They picked up Dragon, they just walk back off, and they're going to farm a bit.
Yeah, absolutely nothing was expended there. Absolutely nothing. No summon spells, with the exception of Smite. No teleport was used. Darian roamed down to the bottom. He hasn't even lost out on CS, really, 240 to 245. Now Millennium, however, they want to try and focus this mid tower. There are 4 members of their team. There's a teleport coming in from Darian. It's being followed by Kevin. He's caught.
Yeah, they hooked him in actually underneath the tower, and look at that, down to half health. Darian falling at the front. There's Diamond coming in from the side. Creaton's gone very low. Super Mega Death Rocket not really having the impact they'd have liked. This is a big, messy fight, but everyone from Millennium going low there at the back. We see Genja now chasing down. Can they finish Creaton? There's the Arcane Shift. Darian's still chasing. Zap! Max range to get another one. And here's Darian flashing his way through. One more should do it. Can he get it? Yes, he can. Darian picks up that one. And just like that, Gambit picking up 3 kills to back away. But it's not over just yet. Arenea's charging up. Arenea's charging down. He goes down on the inner turret. And this is going to be a tower as well for Gambit.
Aranea should not have been there. And we talked about the chasing potential. How Warwick, Lee, and Riven can run you down. And of course, if you're getting kills while doing it, Jinx's passive Get Excited gives you a massive movement speed boost. Allows you to just keep chasing. After the initiation from Gambit, who started the fight first, I want to stress that. They were the ones that ran in. Kevin teleported. The rest of Millennium were running away. They weren't in the lane. So as soon as he teleports, a great hook from Edward starts that fight out, allows Gambit to get 4 kills, a tower, a Baron, and a 9,000 gold lead.
Yeah, that's a big swing right there. And I love the decisiveness from Gambit as well. Take the fight, move straight back off, pick off the Baron, and go straight back home before they can even come around. Here's another look at that one. Started off with a top lane teleport.
Yeah, Darien was teleporting a little bit safer. Kevin came in the middle of the lane, and the rest of his team had backed away. Nobody else was fighting, so Kevin getting caught forces Millennium to run back in. They're not in opportune position, and because they're sort of re-engaging from different angles, it allows Gambit to focus fire targets and allows Gambit to just chase down. Look at the movement speed here from Darien, as well as the get excited after the zap. It's just flash forward, land some more damage, and just keeps chasing over and over. The Gambit composition is much better at cleaning up these messy, low-health fights than what Millennium is, and especially because Millennium didn't have a straight-up engage. That's what cost him.
There's Aranea. The last stand, I think, on that turret where he was looking at juicy targets, really low HP, but in the grand scheme of things, just losing another kill for Millennium's total. Another thing that happened during that fight, Darian's Infinite Duress's ultimate was used onto Creatine. That's an important thing because it stopped him getting out of there, which was probably the biggest thing that led to his death.
Yeah, and it's what we talked about very early on, how Ezreal is very difficult to deal with. Darien is now getting caught out. Can they kill him?
Well, it wouldn't be a week of LCS action without Darien getting caught out. Whether they can finish off a kill against him is another matter here, because the rest of Gambit actually coming down and Darien just walking away. And he's actually going to ulti in on towards Aranea here. Is he going to be able to pick up the kill from it? There is the rest of the team. The hook lands onto Aranea. Darien, you have all the swag. And look at Diamond, he's come around the back. He's a little bit out in no man's land, but he'll get the kick into the hook. What a combo from Gambit. Box goes down. Now they're looking for even more as they focus Kerp. He's going to use the Zhonya's. They surround him and hunt him down. It's Darien that picks up that kill.
Darien didn't even use his Infinite Duress while trying to escape. He baited so well. Just walking away, pulling both Aranea and Creatine after him. They needed to back off a little bit sooner. They lose 3 members. They're most likely going to lose that outer turret if the minions take it down. And the rest of Gambit are just focusing on this mid lane. They're making it very clear they want an inhibited turret first.
There is another turret going down. We have Jinx in the top lane pushing that one through. I'm not sure what they're going to do to defend this inhib turret, to be honest with you. We do see a couple of guys starting to spawn in ever so slightly, but this inhibitor's going down. That did a lot of damage onto these towers. We saw in the last game from Reckless what Jinx can do to the towers as well. And
it's not over.
He's done that. It's not over just yet. It's going to be close.
4 towers. That's 5 towers in inhibitor. Now they want another fight.
There we go. Pushing straight in. Alex, it's right down the middle of them. Kevin trying to get away. It doesn't matter how tanky Mundo is. They've got enough damage to finish the thing off. And Alex almost getting involved in that one as well. This is a second inhibitor going down for Gambit.
Gambit could push on for the win if they wanted to. It's a 5v4. Most of their ultimates are basically going to be available. The box is coming up, as is Infinite Duress. If Creatine sticks too close, Darien will most likely jump on his head. Baron buff is slowly wearing out, and my word, have Gambit made it effective. They can finish the game right now.
They've got full HP here, Gambit, thanks to that regen, and they're actually going to go in on towards Kerp. There's a kill for Edward. Are they going to go for finishers here? Yes, they are. Aranea locked up. He goes to Genja at the back. He will be finished off, though, by Genja. The first Nexus turret is actually down. The second one's going to be made short work of, and Gambit head over towards the fountain. A dance by Darien will seal victory for Gambit as they go 2-1 here in the LCS.
What an incredible finish. After the slow pace of that game and how even it was for just how long that game took, the moment that Darien was able to bait out Creatine and Aranea, they were able to just turn it on, the decisiveness to move across the map, let minions take bottom turret, they push middle, Genja push top. I mean, phenomenal play coming out of Gambit.
So good, and again we were talking about this Warwick pick. Yesterday, I'm still not 100% sold on it, but again, it produces a win for Gambit. 3-0-9, Darien ends there at the end. You saw the bait. That bait was just incredible. I thought he was going to get caught out because, as I said, Darien likes to do that every now and then, but the drawing was just incredible.
You know why I like the Warwick right now when you think about it? is that when you compare him to the other tanks that deal sustained damage over time, the Shyvana, Dr. Mundo, etc., he can basically sustain through large portions of that sustained damage. Even if you have a Shyvana that builds Blade of the Ruined King, he can prioritize a little bit of, you know, armor, get himself up to like a Sunfire Cape, and just keep lifestealing his way through the damage. Then the chase potential plus the CC. It's a top lane Vi, dare I say it, guaranteed lockdown, guaranteed suppress, and as soon as you've got some damage like Jinx, it's easy kills and resets in team fights. That could have even worked with like a Kha'Zix in middle, who you know Alex is so comfortable.
Oh, we saw it in that big fight in middle, didn't we? The fact that he locked onto Creatine right from the very get-go. His health bar was reduced to pretty much nothing, but it's the fact that he kept in there for so long that really helped them to win that fight. Alex playing the Riven in the middle actually came out without a single kill in that game, funnily enough. 0-1-10 he ended. Genja 6-1-3 on Jinx. Jinx so far has proved to be very, very effective throughout our first 2 days.
And it definitely hits a spike. You know, Jinx in this particular matchup struggled a little early. I think Genja wasn't able to get as many kills in lane or push the towers down as quickly as possible. I think there was one tower piece at 25 minutes. However, once they had one clear-cut team fight, Jinx then just skyrocketed in damage. The rest of the composition around Gambit was built around getting somebody low and then using the Wind Slash and the Super Mega Death Rocket to kill somebody, and then allow Warwick and Jinx to just keep running you down, because you cannot outrun that at all. So very smart team building from Gambit and very smart execution in the actual game.
And one thing that impresses me about Gambit is how they win games, not how they win the game, but how they finish it mostly. We looked at Millennium yesterday themselves picking up the win against SK, and they were guilty of not being to the point, making obvious pinpoint decisions, saying, okay, we do this, and then we win the game. We saw it there from Gambit. They pick up Baron, they've got Genja pushing the top lane on his own, they take the mid lane with them, they just go from one objective to the other, win the game, and they just look so decisive when they're on form.
That's the cleanest finish we've seen all week.
Yeah.
Out of all the games we've seen so far, that is the quickest, the most surgical to a game. They didn't back. So from the time that fight happened, it took about maybe 2 minutes to finish the entire match. I think they even still had Baron running by the time it ended. It was just so incredibly quick, and very good play. So in less than a third of the countdown from when Baron was available to it wearing off, they were able to wrap the game up completely.
Well, that puts Gambit a little bit closer to Fnatic. 2-1 as opposed to the 3-0 means they're still in reach though, and that is going to mean a lot to Gambit after they lost their first game to Fnatic. Guys, we need to take a short break, but when we return, Shox will talk to Diamond from Gambit, and then the Copenhagen Wolves take on SK Gaming. We'll be right back.
Zap! Max Reigns to get another one, and here's Darian flashing his way through. One more should do it, and he get it. Yes, he can.
You're stuck in the wall, right? Huh? Level 4, you're stuck in the wall. No. Really? For me, you're stuck in the wall, and I couldn't think.
Want thousands of Riot points to boost your League of Legends game? Get RP Plus from American Express Serve. It's a full-service prepaid account that rewards you with RP on the things you already buy. So when you buy things like peripherals and lunch, you'll be earning RP with virtually every purchase. Plus, it has no credit checks or hidden fees, and comes with the safety and security of American Express. That's why RP Plus from American Express Serve is going to change your game. Start earning thousands of RP with RP Plus from American Express Serve now. To learn more about the full-service prepaid account, go to serve.com/League of Legends.
The 2014 Ram 1500, first ever back-to-back winner of the coveted Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Available today with $7,700 total savings at your Ram dealer.
Want thousands of Riot points to boost your League of Legends game? Get RP Plus from American Express Serve. It's a full-service prepaid account that rewards you with RP on the things you already buy. So when you buy things like peripherals and lunch, you'll be earning RP with virtually every purchase. Plus, it has no credit checks or hidden fees, and comes with the safety and security of American Express. That's why RP Plus from American Express Serve is going to change your game. Start earning thousands of RP with RP Plus from American Express Serve now. To learn more about the full-service prepaid account, go to serve.com/League of Legends. Want thousands of Riot points to boost your League of Legends game? Get RP Plus from American Express Serve. It's a full-service prepaid account that rewards you with RP on the things you already buy. So when you buy things like peripherals and lunch, you'll be earning RP with virtually every purchase. Plus, it has no credit checks or hidden fees, and comes with the safety and security of American Express. That's why RP Plus from American Express Serve is going to change your game. Start earning thousands of RP with RP Plus from American Express Serve now. To learn more about the full-service prepaid account, go to serve.com/League of Legends. Want thousands of Riot points to boost your League of Legends game? Get RP Plus from American Express Serve. It's a full-service prepaid account that rewards you with RP on the things you already buy. So when you buy things like peripherals and lunch, you'll be earning RP with virtually every purchase. Plus, it has no credit checks or hidden fees, and comes with the safety and security of American Express. That's why RP Plus from American Express Serve is going to change your game. Start earning thousands of RP with RP Plus from American Express Serve now. To learn more about the full-service prepaid account, go to serve.com/League of Legends.
Hello everybody and welcome back to our lovely interview lounge where I am joined here by Quickshot and Diamond. Fantastic victory once again, Diamond. Talk me through the story of that game because the first blood came very late and it seemed like you couldn't really get anything going anywhere.
So I couldn't really do much in early game. I was trying to hold my lanes, hold my guys from dying. Like Alex pushed his lane very hard. Then I tried to invade, burned Arna's flash, stole a couple of his bucks in jungle. And then the goal was to take every dragon to get as much advantage as we can.
Maybe about that dragon, Gambit still very much prioritizes getting that dragon even in early levels, even though it doesn't give that much XP or gold early levels. Is that because of the dragon or because you know if they come here to contest it, we're sure to win that fight?
Okay, there's two things, like dragon is respawning, towers are not, so you better take all the dragons and towers, and then if they will contest it, we can kill someone easy because we have a leasing.
I've got a question for you about your style of jungle. The very first game when we seen you play against Fnatic, you counter jungled a lot. You almost had as much CS as Ranger at one point. But now in the Lee Sin games, you seem to roam a little bit more, spend more time in lane. What affects your decision on when you want to counter jungle or whether you want to gank? Is it the champion or the team or combination?
I think in this game it was about Lee Sin against Y because Lee Sin counters her very hard. If he like meets her in jungle alone, he will just beat her easy. And then Lee Sin can't farm jungle that fast as Shyvana, so you better gank him, not just farm.
Yeah, we saw that early on where you almost killed Aranea, but your Q didn't come up fast enough. It was very close there. Tell me a little bit about your guys' composition and maybe the Warwick that Darian's pulling out so much now and is being very successful with. How do you like playing together with that Warwick in the team?
I like Warwick very much, Vidwick. So Darian is playing him insanely good. He's catching everyone when he can, and also he's staying great against most OP champions right now at the top lane like Shyvana and Mundo. He scales really well in the late game, and he can build something like a magic resistance item which lowers magic resistance of ours.
So I've got a question for you about your champion picks. You know, we're seeing Warwick in the top lane, we're seeing Alex is playing LeBlanc, Riven, Edward played a Mumu and Kennen. Are you practicing any strange or exciting champions? And, you know, if so, What can you tell us about new jungle champs? Because we're still seeing the same ones over and over.
In the current patch, nothing has changed from the World Championship, like really not much. Maybe Kha'Zix and Fiddlestick came up, but no one else. But in the new patch, which is now live, there is like a lot of potential in our junglers. But right now, Lee Sin is the strongest jungler in the game.
Some potential. I feel like we're going to see some special things in the future. Can't wait for that, of course. And now we're going to see what the fans at home have to say about the 2014 season so far. Of course, earlier today we asked you to tell us who is your dark horse team and why. And here's what you had to say. The first tweet is from @TheRangeTournament's Super Hot Crew. They had a fantastic qualifier against MYM, and they're coming in with a lot of momentum. How do you feel Super Hot Crew is doing?
I think Super Hot Crew. I'm a really fan of Mr. Alice in solo queue because he carries me a lot. Like, I love to play with him. He never fails there. And I feel like their team is doing really, really well. And their mid laner, maybe he falls a little bit behind early, but in the late game, his decision-making in team fights is really great.
Mr. Raleigh doing very good in that game earlier on here today. The second tweet is from @SerioKnas. Definitely Roccat. They don't have much hype around them, but Overpow has been insanely good in every game so far.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think Roccat are a little bit underrated by many teams right now, and seeing how well Copenhagen Wolves played and seeing how well Roccat are performing in terms of the decision makings, and the fact that our Super Hot Crew took a game from Alliance, I think a lot of people are going to be giving the other teams in the league a little bit more attention.
And then the last is from @CitoFL. I think SK Gaming can be pretty strong in the entire split. They are very skilled, and Jessis is very underrated.
I think SK still need to step up at the moment. You know, they just added